Take a listen to this. A recent brain imaging study of American tweens is shedding light on how screen time on phones is affecting our brain. So it found that kids who spent more time on screens had more ADHD type behaviors and slightly thinner brain tissue in areas that help with focus and impulse control 2 years later.
You have two boys that are teens.
I thought you were going to say I have ADHD. I was like, thank you.
Well, I have two kids too, and of course they love the screen time, so
sure.
I'm always interested
Yes.
about this, with my kiddos. So these changes are small, but they suggest heavy screen time is not neutral for a developing brain. Here to talk more about this is our parenting expert, Dr. Cheryl Ziegler. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So is this research correlation or causation?
This is interesting because most of the time I say, well, it's just correlation. It's not necessarily causation. However, there's a couple of different studies that you can put together. In a smaller study, they're actually showing some causation. So I would say today we can safely still say it's highly, and I mean very highly correlated. But with more and more studies, we may actually see some causation, particularly when there's a genetic predisposition. So what that means is right now, if you're watching and in your family, ADHD runs in your family, whether it's official, unofficial, pretty much people usually know, and you have a younger child, they are at what we call like a higher risk or a higher predisposition for ADHD type behaviors. So if you're starting to see that, and your kid is really particularly connected to the screen, it's really something to watch because it will probably exacerbate whatever behaviors are already there.
So is there a certain amount of time on a screen, certain time of usage time that really impacts this?
Yes, there's certain times and certain times of day as well. So in the evening, you get higher stimulation when you're looking at a screen. So this is a consistent recommendation. At the very least, an hour before bedtime, you want the screen time off. Here's a little nuance. So the American Academy of Pediatrics has already a recommended chart, right? So basically, kids should not be on a screen longer than 2 hours a day. That's really the max. When we're talking very, very young kids, they really shouldn't be on for more than an hour. But one of the things that's really interesting is when you look at kids, not only when they're on it, but how it impacts their sleep. Sleep is probably thought to be the #1 factor. So if you decrease sleep in any one of us, ADHD or not, whatever symptom you already have, whether that's anxiety or depression or restlessness, whatever it is, it will likely look a lot worse. So we know that screen time really directly actually does impact your sleep time because they're stimulated, they want to be on it, they're sneaking it in the middle of the night, whatever they're doing. So you have to throw in sleep into this mix as well.
I find it so interesting because we're talking about developing brains here, right? Like, I'm sure that this is different for like an adult versus kiddos or teens as well. If a parent is concerned about how much screen time that their kid's getting, what should they know? What do they need to do?
Well, first, if a parent is thinking, well, when should I be concerned? Because it looks to me like every kid is hooked to these screens. The biggest thing to really look at is their irritability. How easily or not easily do they get off the screen when you take it away from them? Do they have these big meltdowns when they're doing these transitions? Because that's a really clear one. You also want to look at, in general, what is their impulse control ability? What's their ability to focus and sustain attention? That's also something to pay attention to. The sleep part, like we talk about, and then a loss of interest when they're not on a screen. So if you take the screen away, they're melting down, they're not doing well, and then they're like, I don't know what to do with myself. Those are all really big red flags that you might have sort of more than the average amount of, interest from your kid in screens.
I'm going to take this back to my own kids real quick. I have two 18-year-old boys, twin boys.
Okay.
I remember when their pediatrician was talking to me about definitely don't let them sleep with the phone in their room, going back to your sleep topic. And then he started talking to me directly. He goes, you shouldn't sleep with the phone in the room either. It's not good for any of us. And he said, just having the phone, even if it's off, they said, even if the phone is off, but it's in your room, it somehow messes with your brain. So I'm curious, do you use the alarm on your phone?
I do.
And do you use the alarm on your phone when you're for sleep at night?
I do as
How
well.
do we sleep with the phone not in our room if we're using the phone as the alarm?
That's a good point.
But here's the point. I don't have a problem though, in the middle of the night, I'm not feeling like I have to look at my phone, right? So, but if I ever do, then I really have to get up. So I will say, last night I didn't sleep that well, which is kind of unusual. It was a really bad night. So instead of, I didn't scroll, I literally got myself up. I took my own advice. I physically got up. I went downstairs. I'm a little hungry. I'm a little thirsty. So I knew what to do. Somebody who's really, really connected is not going to probably be able to do that, and they're going to scroll.
Oh, it's so interesting.
We apologize. I think having you here this morning probably led to that bad night's sleep last night. Our apologies this morning, Doctor.
No.
She has a lot on her plate today.
Fair.
Well, this is fascinating. Thank you so much. I know I'm always trying to check how much time my kiddos have on the screen.
You have a long road ahead, too.
I know. And it's so easy, you know, like I need a nap because I work crazy hours. Here, take a screen for an hour. I'm like, what am I doing? But it's so easy for parents. You just got to really keep it in check.
It is. You do have to keep it in check and just monitor the behaviors. And if they're acting like they're doing those things, I didn't say that part, you may want to do a digital detox or even go talk to a psychologist about ADHD or other behavioral interventions.
Okay.
Thank you for being here, Dr. Ziegler.
Thank you.